Hey, Michael with XForcePC. You want to talk about troubleshooting controls. So if you're having trouble with your controls, maybe it's pulling to the left or pulling to the right, or you're pushing on the pedal and the plane is veering off wildly. One thing you can do to troubleshoot your controls is to output your controls to the cockpit display. So if you go into the settings, now always be careful when you're in the settings, but under data output here, which it was already on, you'll see this column here that says show in cockpit. I pretty much always have my frame rate showing, so I have a checkbox next to that. But right here, there's one that says joystick, aileron, elevator, and rudder. And I've checked that box. And what that does is that outputs the raw data that I am giving the simulator from my yoke for elevator and aileron, and then also for rudder, because I actually don't have rudder pedals plugged in, so it's going to give me some rudder input from the yoke itself. So when everything is centered perfectly, all these numbers are exactly 0. You notice they're slightly off, but it's like 0.004 of a, off, so it's not really even going to be noticeable. But if I recentered things, I might hit exactly on 0 here. When you fully deflect on one axis, so I have fully deflected the aileron axis to the left, I get -1, center is 0, and all the way to the right is +1. And you notice we're getting a little bit of rudder input because the simulator is auto-coordinating the rudder since I don't have rudder pedals. If I had rudder pedals, you'd also see toe brakes up here, and so you could troubleshoot whether or not you're inadvertently pressing the toe brakes, or you have the toe brakes reversed, things like that. Same with the elevator axis. I push it all the way in, it goes to -1. I pull it all the way back, and it goes to +1. And so that allows you to sort of figure out, what is going on, especially if you feel like, it's not behaving in a manner in which you are expecting. Do know that on this same data output page, there are lots of other things that you can output to the cockpit display. Certainly you don't want to check all of these things, or you won't even have a cockpit display anymore. You'll have a bunch of numbers. But all kinds of things like, the position of the flaps, that can be actually kind of handy if you're troubleshooting that. And then, of course, flight controls as well we can output. Very similar type data that we're going to get for that. This actually gives us the nose wheel deflection as well. So hopefully that helps, and helps you get going if you're having trouble with your controllers.